world. But what is happening in Ghana right now is that some educationists have urged the Education Ministry and the Ghana Education Service to address all concerns which will come up after the National Standardized Test. We'll tell you their opinions on it shortly. Also in the bulletin, the minority in Parliament has filed a motion to challenge the First Deputy Speaker's ruling on the budget modifications, insisting that they still do not accept the 2020 budget. We'll bring you details of that as well. We are live around the world on 3news.com. Before we get into the details, here are highlights of today's big stories.
News at 10 headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Super Fix Tile Cement.
300,000 doses of the country's COVID-19 vaccine stock will expire by the end of December. The Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bequin, tells TV3 the service is scaling up rational outreach points to the unvaccinated.
It's much more profound in maybe a greater crowd. There's an element of fatigue setting in. That's how come we are creating more teams. So what we've done is that all our health centers or health facilities are actually being used. But then we are doing a kind of like rotational outreach sites.
Commercial drivers in Accra say the 15 peso fuel reduction by GOIL following a directive from the presidency is inadequate. President Akufo-Addo directed the state oil marketing company to reduce its prices by 15 pesos following Monday's sit-down strike by commercial transport operators who are demanding the scrapping of some taxes in the price build-up on fuel.
Well, we'll play with the government. He's doing his best, but his best should be enough for us. He should at least bring it down small.
At first it was 5 pesos, but now they've done something more about it. But it's still not enough. So it's either they will increase the price of the fuel so that we'll be okay. That one there. But yes, so they have to reduce it.
When the world market crude oil goes up, definitely you have to know that the fuel price will go up. But I think there are a lot of taxes on it, which the government has to look at it. Because any government will come, will just tell you do something about the fuel price, but definitely you will realize that it's going up.
The Tema Oil Refinery has described as a breach of agreement the decision by the ECG to disconnect them from the national grid. Head of Public Relations at TOR, Dr. Kingsley Ntwibo-Esiako, indicates the Interim Management Committee of TOR had earlier in November engaged the management of ECG and agreed on a 500,000 Ghana cedi a month agreement starting in November 2021. TOR is indebted to the ECG to a tune of 27 million cedis. With the November amount of 500,000 cedis paid, the refinery says it is thus taken aback on the sudden disconnection of its power by ECG. This is not the first time ECG has carried out such an operation. Let's go straight to the details of our stories now. And some educationists have urged the Education Ministry and the Ghana Education Service to address concerns that will come up after the National Standardized Test. They argued that if the assessment is not taken seriously, it could defeat the purpose of the program and will not help improve teaching and learning outcomes in the country.
The standardized test program, according to the Education Minister, is designed to generate requisite data for any needful intervention in the sector. But Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, says the policy will be meaningless if policymakers do not pay attention to the assessment report.
If we are not honest about it, then we will undertake the exercise and it will be another activity and nothing will happen. So for me, the most important thing about the NST is the commitment of authorities to make use of the reports of the assessment so that in subsequent ones we will be seeing improvements in teaching and learning.
He says already schools have no textbooks since the new curriculum was rolled out 2 years ago.
We understand the conditions that teachers have been teaching in the past 2 years since the rollout of the curriculum. And to the extent that this NST is key, it's integral to the success of the new curriculum, the fact that textbooks are still not available, and teachers have been teaching with this new curriculum for 2 years without textbooks, obviously means that learning will be impacted negatively.
For Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, Peter Pate Ante, the exam is coming rather too late and blames it on poor planning.
One of the principles of assessment is that you would have to plan and plan well so that those who are going to be involved in the assessment are given prior notice, they are prepared, and all kinds of information are available to them before they write the exams. And if you have 6 months from June to November, when it was initially planned that we write this, we were thinking that was enough time to do the planning. Fortunately, we got to November and they couldn't implement it. Technically, schools are supposed to go down this week. For us, it is quite worrying because we felt that such a program needed to be thought through well.
He lamented extending the academic calendar by 7 more days distorts a lot of things.
These are distortions and these are challenges and inconveniences that we are causing teachers, parents, and even the kids, simply because the ministry refused or could not plan 6 months when they first announced for this program. If we are going to do this haphazardly, we are just going to do anything to represent anything, we are just going to take the bus because you have said that we will have to write an answer this year, then we are not going to get the data we need so much to be able to make the kind of policy prescriptions that we need for our basic education. So for some of us, we are thinking that it will serve the ministry well if they decide to push this to next academic year, in January, have a lot of time to plan, do a lot of sensitization and all that, so that they will be able to conduct this flawlessly. So what we would want to say is that if they decide to do this on 17th, they should make sure that it is an incident-free activity. Because when things go wrong, we will talk about it and we will hold them responsible.
So those are some of the concerns coming in from persons within the education space. Now let's look at some of the specifics that we are going to be working with on the 17th of December when the first or the maiden edition of the National Standardized Test will be taking place. We do know that the Education Ministry is saying it's going to start from primary 2, 4 and 6, but for the maiden edition, which comes of this December 17, they're starting with primary 4, and primarily it is to gather enough data to see where we are falling short as a country when it comes to primary school teaching and places that we need to improve at. And I'm going to take you through some of the numbers and information we have just by way of, getting to know exactly what the ministry intends to achieve. It is a one-day exam. It's going to be mainly numeracy and literacy, that is English and math, and it is going to be multiple choice questions, 35 questions each for both math and English. A total of 470,768 pupils were expected or are expected to participate in the test. 15,391 schools nationwide would be used or will be the places, the schools that will be participating in the exam, and then also 2,850 examination centers with 200 pupils per center would be the allocation when it comes to the total number of pupils per exam center. So those are the numbers we got from the Education Ministry about the standardized test that is coming off on the 17th of December. And like they say, it is to ensure that they get enough information to better inform how our education from the primary level can be better off going into next academic year. The other concern some have raised, like you heard from the educationists that we spoke to, is that schools are going on vacation in the next 2-3 days. Probably by next week, the schools are on vacation. Why don't you wait and start it next year? But they are going to go on vacation. Then after they get home, a few days after, they're going back to the classroom to write it. This is not to assess the pupils in terms of their academic graduation, but definitely it's that information for the ministry to better inform them on where they can channel a lot more resources and areas of balance that they need to pay attention to. That's about the standardization exam coming up on the 17th of December 2021. We'll certainly keep an eye on it and see how it goes across the country and report on it accordingly. This is still News at 10 on TV3. We are shifting our attention to some other stories now. The Ghana Police Service says it has secured a court injunction against picketing at the Parliament House. This followed a disagreement between the police and the leadership of the Justice for Ghana over picketing around the premises of the Parliament House till their grievances were addressed. Meanwhile, the police say it has put in place adequate security measures for a planned demonstration by the Justice for Ghana group slated for Wednesday, the 8th of December, which is tomorrow. The demonstrators are expected to congregate at the Ifwa Sutherland Park and move to the Parliament House to present their petition. The police assured the demonstrators of adequate security to enable them to exercise their democratic rights and do so responsibly. But then they are not going to allow them to picket and stay there, within the premises of Parliament until their grievances are met. They will give them the needed protection for the routes that have been agreed on for the demonstration. But after that, it ends there. They cannot picket and stay in Parliament. We'll give you details of that story as well when it comes of tomorrow, the 8th of December. On to some other stories now. And staying in Parliament, the minority in the House has filed a motion to challenge the First Deputy Speaker's ruling. The minority leader in a motion cited by TV3 indicated that the grounds on which the First Deputy Speaker carried out his duties contravenes the rules, conventions and practices of Parliament.
As the Honorable Authority Minister made reference to the Constitution and standing orders, these have been recognized in the votes and proceedings. What is good for the goose must be good for the gander. I want this because, Mr. Speaker, you are yourself a lawyer. Authoritatively, parliamentary debates have become a guide to interpretation beyond the British ruling in paper and hand. And therefore, we know that reference to the Constitution and reference to our standing order must at all times be respected. So I have a difficulty with the directive that you are giving the table, because as far as we are concerned, I moved the motion. The motion was seconded by the Honorable Mahama Yarga. When the debate, as recorded, the debate concluded.
Whether the minority leader thinks that I was not entitled to rule is another matter. But what I'm saying here is that I ruled.
Let me serve you notice, Mr. Speaker, that under Order 93.5, I will file a motion to question your conduct as Speaker or as member for Bekwai, wherever it's appropriate, because this directive you are given does not, and we ourselves will call the recording for scrutiny, and we'll look at it closely, because as far as we know, Mr. Speaker, you are tempted to rule, and there was an uproar, and there was a suspension, and subsequently an adjournment. That is all we know. So, Mr. Speaker, I intend to invoke Order 93.5 that I'll serve you, I'll submit your conduct, because you cannot operate with these standing orders at your whims and caprices. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, so we are staying in Parliament because earlier during the proceedings, the minority said it is still vehemently opposed to the 2022 budget, despite the concessions and modifications made by the Finance Minister. Our correspondent, Komla Kluche, was in Parliament and came through with his report.
Mr. Speaker, we are guided by the public good, and we think that monies recoverable from the Auditor General report can as well compensate for the imposition of an e-levy. So, Mr. Speaker, we on this side, we are unable to support government in its quest to impose an e-levy at 1.75% on Momo and associated transactions, including remittances and bank transactions. Therefore, we stand opposed. And at every level that e-levy is introduced, we will stand united to oppose it, because it will inflict hardships on the core poor of the Ghanaian people.
We are of the view that the whole essence of democracy
is not to shut the door, but to open it up for continuous engagement. Mr. Speaker, having said this, I would want to assure our colleagues on the other side that we may be emotional at times, we may disagree and be at each other's throats at times, but in the final analysis, we are ready to work together for the sake of Mother Ghana.
All right, so we're going to stay on issues of politics. A group calling itself Patriotic Citizens of the New Patriotic Party is galvanizing support for Professor Ameyawe Kumfi to become the next national chairman of the party. Convener of the group, Osei Anto Bonsu, at a media briefing urged delegates to vote for the former education minister to enable the party retain power.
When I see their weight, Professor Ameyawe Kumfi can lead them. Because if you see, he has demonstrated certain characters and some qualities that I can tell you right now that when they are going for the constate, Professor Ameyawe Kumfi will be the first person to be chosen. Because he's a man of humble. He's not arrogant. I see some of them, they have been in the contest for 3 or 4 times. They can't win. You see, they can't win the election. It means that the MPP people don't like those people. And some of them too arrogant. Some people say that if you are hungry, go and eat konkonte banku and other things. That is arrogancy talk. You see, Professor Ameyawe Kumfi can't talk like that. So I think as for that place, I know I have hope that I have confidence in him that he can perform and he can win the election. Secondly, I know that Professor Ameyawe Kumfi has worked already with President Kufuor before. And even currently, Nanado at Danko has given an appointment. He's serving in his government. So he has consulted them before he's coming out to be in the chairmanship position.
This is still News at 10 on TV3. We'll be back with more. Do stay with us.
I'm going to interview Zuzum right here in my house. Hey!
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat2, I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any painting be painted.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint champion.
One expert. Enjoy true feelings, a flood of emotions, a rush of adrenaline, the taste of victory. Are you ready? Discover all this and more at OneXBet. OneXBet. Bet for every taste. Use promo code and get 200% bonus right now.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. Not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
When your phone maybe I'm with my phone.
Boss, me patcho phone shop be a makubia. The phone everything.
Sir.
Boss.
Okay. Uri Jamari. Minimum.
I am grow. Say yes, a whooping phone, Papa, and a Nadia. I just a one Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone Bia, also be a whooping Bia. This is a Franco Trading Enterprise. Maybe I am also a phone one or two. Also, phones and an academia. So we will be a wood to a cotton. Once also about the fuck a craving one cotton and Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phone Papa Fienia.
It has provided amazing networking and funding opportunities for many Ghanaian SMEs over the years.
So you came all the way from Kintampo to this place. Thank you.
Yet the biggest one is coming. TV3 in partnership with the Association of Ghana Industries present The SME Fair and Funding Summit 2021. Date 16 December to 19 December 2021. 4 days of sales, profits, and a wonderful experience. Venue, Junction Mall, Nungwa. Side attraction, networking opportunities with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat. Free social media marketing training. Seminar on accessing funding support for your business. Opportunity to buy locally made goods and services at massive discounts and giveaways. Fun activities, face painting, kids special Saturday, playground, fashion night, and more. For further details, please call 0249 447 118 or 0241 272 606 or 0243 584976. Now, media partners: 3FM 92.7, Onia TV, Onia 95.1 FM, Connect FM 97.1 in Takrade, Akoma FM 87.9 in Kumasi, and 3news.com. TV3 SME Fair and Funding Summit. Expand your network, grow your business.
What's your take on an ideal guy?
I'm attracted to sapiosexuals.
Oh, sapiosexuals. Cool.
The smart guys.
See, I am one.
What's your take for the constitutional review?
See, they are really disturbing. They are worrying. Review. Constitutional review. The call for a constitutional review is not a bad call.
Really?
At all. Especially in the light of the fact that some laws have outlived their usefulness.
It was just gentlemen. I think Afenijan.
Afenijan? Who doesn't know Afenijan? Excellent footballer. Dangerous. Tactical.
There's this show on TV. It's a music show. Mentor.
I like Mentor. See, my family watches Mentor. Everybody. Hey, see, everywhere Mentor.
Where are they shows?
Eh?
Where are they shows?
Mentor's gonna take you higher.
Don't be clueless. Stay on top of issues with 3news.com and tune in to Media General's radio platforms on the go using 3news.com.
Welcome back to News at 10 on TV3. Let's shift our attention to health-related stories now. Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has adopted a no vaccination, no entry policy to its lined-up programs for December for its members. This, according to the president of the association, Perpetual Oforiampofo, will ensure all members get vaccinated before the end of the year.
We are even having an event this December, on 17th of December, our awards night. And if you're not vaccinated, you're not coming. So we are going to use various measures to ensure that everybody gets vaccinated. And we have also directed our regional constituents to ensure that all activities that are running in the regions, they ensure that all the participants are also vaccinated. It's very, very important because we all need to be vaccinated. We were considered as part of the essential health workers right from the beginning. So opportunities were given us region by region. At a point it was made available everywhere for everybody to get vaccinated. So I want to believe everybody is vaccinated at this time. But if you are out there as a nurse or midwife or an other health professional and you are not vaccinated, I don't know what you are waiting for. Get up and get vaccinated, because when you look at December has been earmarked as the month of vaccination by the Ministry of Health, and it's incumbent on us to be the source of education to the general populace.
Now, the leadership of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union says although the reduction in fuel prices is a step in the right direction, a further reduction would relieve their losses.
Through so many things, after so many questions and so many answers, they were able to assure us that effective from today, even GOIL will start with the reduction, of which the chief of staff was bold enough to tell us that yes, effective from today, we will start experiencing a reduction of 6.700 instead of the 6.850, of which we agreed, and lo and behold, this morning we have experienced that. We were told it will be a gradual process. The reduction will be coming in trenches. So this morning that we have experienced the first reduction. After all, we never fought for our commercial drivers alone. We fought for every Ghanaian or anybody who is in the country and buys fuel. Yes, this is what we did. We are happy. We have at least achieved something out of our struggle. We are hoping and praying that, as promised by government machinery, the reduction will continue. We've started with 15 pesos today. If within 2 weeks or 1 month another follows, we'll be very happy, because we're told it will be a gradual process. So we'll wait and see. Now everybody in the country, the whole world, have seen what drivers in Ghana can do. So I don't think they will jeopardize with whatever decision we've taken.
All right, to other stories now. Coffin makers at Asafo in Kumasi have called the bluff of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly after they were served an eviction notice. The aggrieved craftsmen say the local authority must find them an alternative place before they move. They have been speaking with our correspondent in the Ashanti region, Benjamin Aidu.
Some developer has come to remove us from this place so that he can build stores, and it worries us because we are more than 1,000 over here. As we see us here, the average age is about 22. So you can imagine the youth that we are building here, and these people are all craftsmen. If you scatter us from this place, what are we going to do? Even if you could provide an alternative.
Obesi stores na ase no, wo de ase na man na masa wo Ghana ase stores. Ya de beji ska na se fa ase ma yefundaka.
We were told they were coming to build stores here, so they wanted to relocate us. What they told us was too good to be true, because they said they would give the ground floor of the stores to us. They have just been here to tell us to vacate this place on December 18, even though they haven't made any arrangements for us.
And from the Ashanti region, let's come back here to Accra, where we are going to be giving you the latest of news making rounds on the international front. Starting from Burundi, where at least 38 people have died and scores more have been injured in a fire that tore through a prison in Burundi. Vice President Prosper Bazumbaza told reporters that the blaze hit an overcrowded facility in the capital, Gitega, with at least 69 people seriously injured. The prison building engulfed in flames with piles of bodies said to be inmates of the jail. The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Prison Service, Zachariah Ibrahim, has told the House of Representatives Committee on Interior that congestion has become the common feature of prisons. According to Ibrahim, of 50,601 inmates in the various prisons, 36,934 are awaiting trial. The figures do not include those held in police cells. Some are kept there for eternity, while many spend 15 or more years without trial. That seems like a similar story to what's happening in Ghana's prisons, but then over the years, Ghana seems to be taking steps to decongest the prisons and make them facilities to retrain and reform people rather than just throwing them there for their crimes. This is how we bring the bulletin to a close. Thank you very much for sharing your 30 minutes with us. I am Martin Esiedidati. Visit 3news.com for more updates. Have a good evening, and as always, stay positive. Merry Christmas.